Baird, Stephen Means, cleveland.com. We are talking to you after Ohio State's second spring practice of 2020. Unlike Monday, we didn't get to watch practice today. We just came in at the end, and they were doing yoga and other various stretchings and a couple of things over here on the blocking sled, but we really didn't see today. Today was more about interviews. We got to finally talk to some players, some position coaches, and on the offensive side of things, there were a couple of big topics of conversation. Number one is what's the deal with Master Teague? We got offensive coordinator Kevin Wilson, who emphasized a couple times that while he's out for the spring, he's not ruling Teague out for beyond that, that it's something where he could potentially come back by the beginning of, or by the summer, by the beginning of next season. He's hesitant to put a timeline on it, and you'll hear coaches talk about this a lot of times because you say it's a 6-month injury, and then for whatever reason, no fault of anybody's, it takes 7 months and people start making a big deal of it, or maybe the player, his family, they start thinking something's wrong. So they're not ruling him out, but they're also not putting a timetable on it right now, I think is probably the safest way to say it right now. The other big, I thought, offensive topic of conversation day, we got to talk to Cade Stover, new tight end Cade Stover. You got to talk to him. You also probably got to talk to Kevin Wilson about him, just what's new there.
Yeah, it's been a transition. As a matter of fact, this was a trade, like straight up. Larry Johnson saw Kamonte Hamilton, who was a tight end, and said, he looks like a defensive lineman. Let me have him. And it became a conversation with him, Kevin Wilson, and Ryan Day, and it ended up being a trade for Cade Stover, who started out as a linebacker and then was a defensive end halfway through the season and is now a tight end. He's played tight end in high school before, so he's used to catching balls. And from the way he talked, he's going to be a receiving tight end, more like Jeremy Ruckert is than what Luke Farrell is. And obviously the whole conversation of how much tight ends get used in this offense will be a constant thing, as it usually is. But yeah, this was a straight-up trade. Larry Johnson liked somebody in Kevin Wilson's room. Kevin Wilson liked somebody in Larry Johnson's room, and they decided, hey, let's switch and let's see what happens.
Jeremy Ruckert loves the idea. He said that Stover is ahead of where he was when he came in. Now, again, Ruckert talked about when he was a freshman, Stover now in his second year, so it's a little bit different. But obviously they see some promise there. Now, how soon a role materializes where he can do things during a game, I don't know. But you see some parallels here between someone like Rashad Berry, who had a very similar kind of career arc, too.
Versatile guy who can do a lot of different things as basically an athlete. And like Kevin Wilson talked about, sometimes the plays can get in the way of athletes just being able to be athletes. And I think that might have been the case with Cade Stover as he was finding his position. It seems like he's found that, and he just gets to go be an athlete, the same way Rashad Berry is.
Spring break next week for Ohio State, so nothing new from us as far as practice stuff. We'll be coming back the week after that with more things, but sign up for the text messages because we're going to be having Ohio State intel, recruiting, things going on with this team all through next week, all through the break, and beyond that through the rest of the spring. Nathan Baird, Stephen Means, cleveland.com.